Hey, how you guys doing? This is John Barton from JB Cases. I'm coming to you right now. I'm just finishing up a case, an upgrade for a 3 seconds case. So I want to take this opportunity to show you something. First of all, this is a lot of work to do this, to change out the interior. But I want to show you, and I already did it, so I'm not gonna, we're not gonna be going through it and showing you and everything. The whole process, but I want to explain why it's important to understand what your interior is doing and what it looks like. Okay, so let's take a look. First of all, this is the case. This is a 3 seconds case. It's a very well made bag here on the outside. It's got a neat kind of latch system going on here. Got this pretty cool latch on here. It just kind of slides off like that, and then it slides on. If I were using these kind of latches, that looks like a pretty sturdy latch. It's got a little cinch on here, so you can cinch it up if you need to. But essentially, what this is a bag. It's essentially just a bag, just basically a soft bag right here that the plastic tube goes into. So it's a covering on top. It's not too unlike what we do, except that it's just a nice soft bag. And they do a good job here with the sewing and everything on here. It's very strong, very well done here. Nice. I mean, this is a well done bag right here. This 3 seconds bag. So the handle here, this could be better. This is not very comfortable to me, but it's okay. It's got a nice little kind of handle here, hook. You can hook on that. I don't know if I have the strap in here. Let me see. The strap is in here. I don't think it came with the strap. Yeah, I don't see the strap on it, so I don't know if it. I hope it didn't come with the strap, because then I'll have lost the strap. But I'll look around. But anyway, it's it's very nice. But the thing is with this is, you build it, you have to turn it. You have to basically take this, sew it up on the inside, and then flip it around and turn it. And then you put the tube in, and it's good. Now you got a wood piece at the bottom here, and they actually do pretty good nails in there. I'm not taking it out, but it's barbed nails like we do it. So I think that's really good. I've been harping on that for a long time. So right here on the bottom, you'll see there's barbed nails. So that's real good. So I just used the original nails and I put it back. I did modify in here. I changed the wood piece at the bottom a little bit to put Velcro inside, because when you see how we do our tube, you'll understand why I put the Velcro in here. So basically, I installed our interior into this tube in here. So now this case has a JB case interior in it. Now, those of you who watch me for a long time, you'll know that for me, the actual case part of the case is the interior. It's the part that holds the cues. So that's the part that needs to be well padded. Don't let the cues move. If you're driving down a road and the case is bouncing in the car, you don't want the cues clacking against each other. You don't want them clacking against the side. You don't want undue movement. You don't want, you want to minimize movement as much as possible. So this is the interior that comes in this case. Now, this is kind of a webbing material here, so it's a little bit stretchy. And I'm going to pull this down so you guys can see what we're looking at here. And you can see that here, it's not bad. It's definitely got a little divider. It's got a little bit of padding in between the parts here. This is better than a lot of them that I've seen of this similar type. Much better. The bottom looks like this. So you can kind of get a little bit better idea here on the bottom. Now the bottom, as you can see, the bottom of it, let me pull this back so you can see it. Let's see if I can move this light a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so the bottom here is basically just two pieces of this fabric put together. All right, so on the top you have what appears to be just a little extra padding in here. You can tell that by the foam rubber right there. So there's a little sliver of foam rubber in there. So you've got a little extra padding, and that goes down. So it looks like here that goes down about 2 inches. So it goes down about 2 inches in there. And it gives you just a little extra padding, right? And then you have the same fabric here. You can see the thinness of the fabric here, right there. And it's basically this webbed kind of material here, and then it looks like it's got some kind of backing in there. I don't know if that'll, see that? You can see it shimmering a little bit. So it's on some kind of a substrate. If I pull this apart right here, I don't want to pull it apart too much because I'm going to return it to the customer. But this is basically a double-sided fabric of some kind with a middle substrate in here. So maybe what we're seeing actually is the glue from the fabric or something like that. But anyway, it's not bad, but it allows the cues to move. So the cues can kind of clack in there a little bit. You can hear them rattling when you put the cues in there and you shake the case. Let me see if I have a butt here I can put in here for you and show you something. So for example, you know, if you were to take a butt and put it in here, you can see how easily this moves, right? See how easily that moves through there? And that's what happens. So they slide pretty easily, and this is a 3x5. So you can fit 3 butts and 5 shafts in here. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shafts and 3 butts. So that's what that looks like. So now I want to show you here. Let's fold this, okay? We're going to fold it, and I want to show you something. So there's one fold, right? And there's 2 folds, okay? So there's 2 folds, and that's how thick this is. Now, this is the interior that I put in, okay? This is our old interior. So this is not the interior that we use right now. This is our older interior, but I had to use this because this is what fits inside the tube. Now let's do the same kind of experiment here. I'm going to fold it here, okay? And then I'm going to fold it again, and I'm not going to do it right here because this has still got the plastic piece on here. So I just want to show you what this looks like in comparison. Okay? So this is what it looks like. This is the amount of padding you have in comparison to this. Okay? So this is this was the one that I made for it at first, and you can see here that this one here has a space for 3 butts and 6 shafts. So 3 butts, I don't know if you guys can see that, 3 butts and 6 shafts. You know what, let me see if I can find a light here that works real quick. Just bear with me for just a second. Sorry, I'm doing this kind of impromptu, so it's not real smart of me. I don't plan these things out, I just kind of go with it and do it. Certainly I have a flashlight here somewhere, maybe. Yep, there we go. Okay. So this is what it looks like in ours, right? So this is what you're seeing with ours. Take a look at the thickness of the padding in there, and then this goes here. It starts here and it goes down to about right there. That's double padding, okay? Then we have, you can see here how the fabric has thicker foam rubber here. So you've got double padding right here. It goes down to here, and then you've got another layer of double padding in here, okay? Now in these we put single layer of padding all the way down, and then here we have, and this is a used one, so I'm just showing it to you. This is an older one, but that has all the double layer of padding in there. And then of course, as I said, it's about that thick all the way down, right? So when you pull this down in here, this is what it looks like, is all the way down to here, you've got that double padding, and then you've got single for all the rest of it. And then this is what the bottom looks like. Now, the bottom on our case here looks like, let's see, let me find one here and show you. Oh, did I grab one or not? Okay, here it is. Here it is. Okay. So the bottom looks like this with the Velcro, right? And it's fully sealed, as you can see, right? Now on this one, this is the bottom here. So remember, this is single layer in here. So let's look at that again. And the reason I'm showing you this is not necessarily to knock them. It's to show you the contrast between the level of protection that they provide and the level of protection that we provide. Okay, so a lot of people go with a case like this because it's cool and it's neat and it's new, but they do sacrifice protection. So that you're sacrificing protection for something new and novel and looks, you know. And like I said, this is better than a lot of cases that I've seen. There's a famous brand with a cat, for example, that puts out interiors that are just utter crap. You know, they're basically super thin, paper thin nylon, and they're horrible. But anyway, this is what you're looking at here, like that. Now, one thing I want you to notice is that it's not even sealed. So when this goes over like that, the cues are not they're not separated in any way at the bottom. Now there is a wood that comes up to there, right? And so, you know, that does provide a little bit of separation, but it's not a sealed cavity. It's not a completely separated cavity. So if something were to fall into a cavity, for example, what would happen is that that whatever that is could travel between cavities pretty easily and cause damage to the parts in all the cavities, depending on how it traveled, because if it's bouncing up and down or whatever, say a quarter or something like that. So I personally don't think that that's a good idea to do it that way. Now, a lot of case makers do that. It's just easier to do it, and they pretty much feel like, I guess, that nothing will ever fall in. Listen, I've taken cases apart that have paper clips inside. I took a case apart that had about $5 in change in the bottom, quarters with serrated edges. You know, I've seen bobby pins inside. I've seen pieces of chalk inside, crumbled up pieces of chalk. So, you know, chalk is abrasive. So then you got that going up and down your cue or embedding in the fabric, stuff like that. So, you know, I mean, things can get into cases, and then the more they can travel up and down, the more they can go from cavity to cavity, they can hurt your cue. Okay, so I try to prevent that to some degree. Okay, now for this particular model here, I have to make one that I have to make it where the interior is fixed. Okay, so I can't quite do it the way that we do it for our interior and make it where the interior is removable. So on our interiors like this, right? See if I have a other interior here to show you. Okay, here. So for our interiors, they look like this. So basically you have a piece of plastic that goes around here, and that fits inside the tube like a cassette. And then we have the Velcro on the bottom here. So it goes in, and it's a really well padded, basically a well padded bag with completely, see how the cavities are sewn all the way down on here, all the way to the bottom. So it makes it very difficult for anything to travel between the cavities. They're more or less sealed up. So, but if anything did get in here, then you can just pull the whole thing out, and then you can kind of fish out whatever's in there, and you're good to go. In the future, we're working on something a little bit different, of putting like a little zipper down in here so you can even open it up and you can see what's in there. That's a little bit of a practical challenge to get that just right, because I want to make sure that there's nothing ever that could damage a cue, even if the cue can't ever even get to this part. So we're working on that to work out the kinks, but if I'm able to do it, then I'll improve the case with that. So moving on here, basically, you know, this is the interior that is inside this case, as opposed to something like this, right? Let's do the doubling here so we can show you again. You know, I want to reiterate this because I think more padding is better. See, I'm not holding that or squeezing it or anything, so I'm going to go ahead and do this again so you can see it. Let's double that, and then let's double it again. So you've got that versus this here. I'll just hold this very lightly so you can kind of get a feel for what you're looking at. So that's the padding that you get with the JB case. That's the padding you get with the 3Seconds case. And like I said, I want to be clear that the 3Seconds interior like that, the way that it's made, is better than a lot of other interiors. I want to see if I've got one here for you to show you. So this is the cat one right here, but I don't think I have the interior right here to show you right in my purview right here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You guys have seen me do the demonstration where I pull out the interior of similar cases and I just ball them up, and it's basically a ball that's about that big of thin nylon, and that's what they call the interior, you know. And then they advertise, oh, this is super great protection and everything, and it's not. Anyway, let me show you now the difference between that interior. And by the way, you could take your case and turn it upside down and all your cues will just fall out on the floor with that interior. And now let me show you the one that I put into this case. Okay, so remember what I said. This is basically a bag here where it kind of folds down like this, and you can kind of fold it in right there. It's basically kind of like a dry bag type of deal, you know, and it's got a cool little magnet right there. This is actually a neat little latch. I don't like latches that break, that have a chance to break. This is a plastic piece. So the latch looks pretty tough. Let's see, what's this latch called? Fidal lock here. So you guys can look up this latch. I'll look it up later, but it's called a Fidal lock. If you want to screenshot that, you can. It's like F-I-D-L-O-C-K, Fidal lock. So it looks pretty cool, actually. You know, little kind of a magnetic kind of spring latch, or I don't know if it's magnetic, but it's got kind of a little spring in there. So you can see that. So, you know, the case comes from Japan. Japan, you know, they use a lot of good quality hardware and stuff like that. So you know, I think that's probably a pretty good latch for this purpose. And boom, clicks in really nicely. So I like that, you know. Yeah, I just like it. It's pretty cool. The zippers seem pretty heavy duty here. Everything just seems well made, you know. This I've seen 3Seconds kind of grow up. Their first cases were kind of made out of like pajama material or something like that, and they looked really funky and really cool. I forget the guy's name who makes them, but I met him. You know, really cool dude, and you know, so it's a pretty neat case actually. But now let me show you the interior, okay? Because I do think that our interior is much better and much more protective than the interior that comes with this case. So once again, I want to reiterate that the interior that comes with it is better than a lot of name brand mass production cases that cost a lot of money, and the interiors are just complete crap on those cases, you know. So that interior is a lot better than those interiors, but it's not as good as ours. So let's look at ours, okay? So let's open it up here. Now hopefully I can give you a good shot of it in there. But now we've turned this case from a 3x5 into a 3x6. So this is what it looks like in there. Let me get the flashlight. What did I do with the flashlight? There it is. All right, I should do this on the Ring camera so you guys can see this, but let's see if we can position that correctly. There we go. See there? Look at this. That's the padding. Remember the padding that I showed you, right? So remember this padding, right? So now let's take a look. See that? Nothing moves, right? I'm going to hold this so it doesn't rattle. Let me see if I can pull these zippers around so you can so I can stop them from moving, right? All right, here, let's see what happens. You hear that? That is silence, right? Nothing moves, but yet if you want to take your cues out, right, you just reach in and grab it. Comes right out, no problem. If you have a rubber grip or something like that, you'll want to remove a shaft first. So just like that, remove a shaft so you can remove the tension. But check this out. See this? This is what you get with a JB case. So now we've taken this case and we've actually given it a much more protective interior. We've given it a JB interior. This is the, you probably can't see this in there, but that's the JB UltraPad interior. That's our label. And then of course we put the nylon around there so you don't have to worry about it coming out. And yeah, so that's, you know, that's it. So we've upgraded this case now to a JB interior, and that's what it looks like. Now, as I mentioned, this is kind of a tough one to do, the way to take it apart, put it all back together and everything. You have to be real careful not to break the parts down here, because these nails are real tough to get out, as it should be. You know, I'm very impressed with the fact that they use good barbed nails in there. You almost never see that on anybody else's case other than ours. I believe that we were the pioneers of that we use. We have our nails custom made, so our nails are a little bit more decorative. I'll show you what our nails look like real quick. Let me find one. Should have some, usually I have some running around here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You guys have seen my videos. You've seen what they look like. So ours just have like, they're a little bit more decorative. The finish is a little bit better on them. These are more like construction nails, but they absolutely work for the purpose. They're just perfectly fine for what they're intended to use for here. So yeah, it's a pretty neat case. Some of the other cool features on here, it's got a nice book opening pocket right here. So you can kind of see how that goes right there. Now this, honestly, not impressed right here with this. So this is intended, I guess, to hold a jump cue or an extension or something like that right there. That's just not protective at all. You know, everything that's in this pocket is going to be affecting that. This is kind of neat right here. This is kind of neat. This is kind of a Velcro pouch on here. So we do various forms of this. We've got lots of Velcro pouches like this. So I'm taking this opportunity to make some contrasts and show you, but I also want to show you kind of the neat stuff that's in here. So this has an elastic band here, which is neat, and it has like a big pocket, and it Velcros in, and then it's got this neat little pouch here that I guess you could wear this on your belt, or you could put it on the strap or something like that. So it's kind of a neat little accessory pouch, I guess. And it snaps here. So you can snap it to your pouch or a belt or something, or to the outside. They've got a little MOLLE webbing here. So we call this MOLLE, M-O-L-L-E. It's the old military standard. So you could really kind of take this and put that on the outside if you want, or up here if you wanted to have a little extra pouch on there. So we do that on demand for customers. So we'll do full MOLLE on here, or little bits, or whatever anybody wants. You know, we kind of pioneered that on cases. Actually, we did pioneer it. So you know, it's interesting that he decided to put that on there. But anything that comes with that standard will fit right on there. So you can go buy all kinds of extra pouches that you could just put right on there, and that would work. So that's pretty cool. On the inside here, what else has we got going on in here? Let's see. We got an extra little kind of nylon sleeve right here. So that's pretty neat. That's probably like a cell phone or something can fit right there. It really should have I should have done this over there with the other light, but check it out. So see this little sleeve right here? So it looks like you could probably put a cell phone or something in there. Pretty neat. And then let's see, is there anything else going on in the pocket? No, otherwise it's just a normal pocket. Just a normal pocket that you can kind of put whatever in there. So that's neat. Let me put this stuff back together so I don't accidentally short the customer on his stuff that came with the case here. So yeah, like I said, you know, this is kind of weak. You know, I'm not sure if that's just for a jump cue handle or extension or whatever, but you know, it's stuff like this right here that I think that case makers need to take a little bit more time with and provide you a better solution right there. This is, for example, our solution for this. Let me show you. So for example, just for contrast, right? This is what ours looks like. So if we do a case like this with a fully book open pocket right there, this is what you get right here. So we have here a padded sleeve. This is a nice thick padded sleeve. See the opening there, and it just velcros in. So you set it wherever you want, and it protects everything from the pocket. Now this particular one has a tray. This is an organizer tray. With that organizer tray, you can set it up any way you want. All these little pieces here, they come off, so you can position them any way you want to divide up the tray. The whole tray itself comes out just like that. So you can take the whole tray and set it on your table. You don't have to go hunting in the case. You got all your stuff right there, and then when you're done, stick it all in there and you're done. And of course, you don't have to use it. Now, we have a wraparound zipper here, so everything's easy to get to. So you can see here, everything's easy to get to in the pocket. Now, one thing I want you to notice is our pockets have fabric right here. So with this fabric, anything with Velcro will stick to the fabric. So if you go over here, for example, and you'll say, okay, I want to put a cell phone pouch in there. I want to put this and an elastic band. So these are all the cool things. These are all the cool things that you can do here. That has Velcro, right? So this is like a double cell phone pouch. So you've got a sleeve here, you've got a sleeve here. You can put like a pen in here on the side of each one of these. And then this is what this looks like when you put it in the case. You can just stick it in the case like this. Right there. Boom. And now you have a cell phone pouch in here. Where's my flashlight again? Let's see. There it is. We still have Okay, so now you have cell phone pouch in there, or if you want, you can do an elastic band, right? So you can put that in here any way you want, anywhere you want it. So anywhere you want that to be, you can put it in there. You can even put it in the lid if you want to. So for example, you can take this and you can just put it in like this. And now you've got a little retainer right there in the lid. So some people use that for a ball or their wallet or their keys or whatever it is, right? You can put it in there. We have these in different sizes. But the cool part is you can literally make anything you want. You can go get the sticky Velcro. You can any kind of pouch that fits in there, any kind of accessory you want, for example, put some Velcro on it, stick it in there, you're good to go. Put it in any pocket, you're good to go. So I want you guys to understand the contrast here of how we think about case organization, how we think about convenience versus other makers, right? So this 3Seconds case here, this is an elastic pouch, for example, also with Velcro right there, so you're good to go. But this is the difference between JB cases and other cases. These are the kind of things that we think about, that we're always improving and always figuring out better ways to do things. And therefore, the way that we do our pockets and everything is much more useful than this. Now, once again, right, this is going to sound like a knock, but it's a contrast, okay? Because I see a lot of people with a lot of chatter like, oh, the 3Seconds, very cool case. It is a very cool case. It looks very nice. It's well built, right? There's the quality is excellent on here as far as all the sewing and everything. It's really nice. But as I said, when you think about it deeper and you look deeper, then you know that the way that JB Cases does things is geared towards a lot of practicality. It's a lot of comfort and usefulness that goes beyond what a lot of other case makers do, right? So this pocket holds stuff. This pocket organizes stuff with all the different accessories and things. And then we're coming out with a whole new line in collaboration with Hunter Lombardo, who's a touring pro. And he's a very organized guy. He loves our organized system that we have, but he said, hey, there's a lot of things we can even do better. So we're coming out with a new line just for him that is going to be really cool. And it's going to be even more organization options in that case. So yeah, so there you go. You know, that's basically it. I could continue and show you a lot more stuff. I actually got in trouble today. Earlier today, I got in trouble because I saw a post. Somebody shared a post that was selling a Q-Tech butterfly case, and Q-Tech is one of the hot brands now. You know, they've really come up in the last couple of years. They've been doing a lot, getting a lot more visibility. And they came out with a butterfly case, and their butterfly case incorporates a lot of the things that we have invented over the years. So somebody was selling it, and on the post I saw that it said the best butterfly case on the market, right? So that's obviously an opinion, and it's being put out there by the seller, but you know, I kind of take offense to that. So I said it's a very nice case. Obviously, it's very nice. It has a lot of the features and stuff that we invented and we put into cases, and then they basically took a lot of that, put it in there. And they've got a lot of neat stuff going on in the case that you can get as options with us. Everything that's on that case, you know, we've done, and you can get it as an option. But the way they did it, they kind of threw it all in. So it's basically like a kitchen sink type case. So I said that case is very nice, but it's not the best. And that's because I've bought the case. I took it apart. I inspected everything. I think I did a video on it. But it's, you know, it's a good case. It's also like $330 or $340 or something like that. So that's in the range of our butterfly cases, our nylon butterflies. And so, if you're gonna make a choice, right, on a case, then you may want to consider looking at what we do for our butterflies with all of the options that I just showed you and much more. And not only are you going to get all those same options, but you can have it fully customized the way you want it. So it's not a cookie cutter case that looks like everybody else's. And it comes with a lifetime warranty, which the Q-Tech case does not. So, I was making a point and saying, yes, it's a nice case, but it's not the best. So, don't say it's the best, even if it's your opinion, because you can't really back that up. But of course, I got in trouble because people are like, oh, you're not supposed to compare. You're supposed to let the case speak for itself. So here's the deal with that, right? So give me 3 more minutes and then we're done. So when somebody says to me, let the product speak for itself, right? That's what they say. And they don't say anything about when somebody's selling another case, right? Or another brand or whatever it is they're selling, right? They're usually going to have a description, right? They're going to say this case has this feature, that feature. It's awesome. It's the best. Well, who's doing the speaking there? Is that the case talking or is it the person talking, right? Of course it's the person talking. Of course it's whoever's selling something is going to pump it up in a lot of ways. They're not just going to go case for sale, right? Look, they're going to talk about it. If it's a JB case, they're going to say lifetime warranty, super durability, JB's reputation. They're going to say JB's the best or whatever, right? So it's the person that's talking about the case. It's never the product speaking for itself. Because here's the thing. If I just hold up a case, right? If I say, here, look at this, and look at this, right? There's no difference for you other than what you can visually see on the outside of the case. So you would never know, for example, that this interior is removable. You would never know that this interior is well padded with double padding here, double padding at the bottom, single layer padding throughout the center. You would never know about all the pocket features that I just showed you. You would never know that this has a beautiful suede, non-slip, nicely padded, ergonomically good shoulder pad on here. There's so many things that you won't know about by just looking at the case. Even if you can look at the case in your hands, there's a lot of things that you won't know about until I tell you about it because they're not visibly apparent to you. And so if you're somebody who doesn't know much about how the thing is actually built, then your opinion of it is going to be not very well informed, right? So you may like it. It may feel good to you. You may say, wow, this is really high quality. It feels really good. But there may be a lot of things and a lot of features and benefits on it that you don't even really know about if no one told you about it, right? So if someone goes, hey, 3 Seconds case is the best, or Predator is the best, or Q-Tech is the best, or whatever, right? If you trust that person that's saying that, or the seller or whatever, then you're probably going to go, okay, cool, right? I believe you. It's the best. But why is it the best? What is it that makes it the best, right? How much have you compared it? How much did they compare? Well, if they're selling the thing, right, they have zero incentive to go out and actually compare it to other cases, right? They're not going to go out and tear something apart right in front of you and say, okay, it's better in this aspect than this, it's this, it's this. They're not going to do that. So they're either going to give you a bunch of features and benefits, which may or may not be true, and they're going to give you some hyperbole. They're going to say, this is the best, this is the awesomest, this is the, whatever, right? That is the person speaking for the case. And what they're saying may or may not be true, right? It may or may not be something that they can back up. These are called claims, right? So the way that I look at it is this. I make a product in the same category, and I really go out of my way to design it in such a way that it is objectively better at protecting your cue. The case part of the case is what's inside of it. So that's where we start. We start with your pool cue. We wrap layers of foam rubber around it in a very logical and practical way that inhibits movement, it inhibits clattering, and it protects the cue parts from each other and also from the case itself, right? So you don't want things moving and bumping against the wall of the case. You don't want things going up and down and clattering this way or this way like a clothespin. So that is important to me. So we start with the pool cue. We wrap layers of foam rubber around it. Then we build the exterior around that. We build a tough shell. By the way, our shell on here is our shell is not recycled plastic. So this is original plastic right here, original resin pellets that are used to make this. There's no recycled material in here. Now the reason for that is because recycled material can be mixed up of a bunch of different plastics, and you can have runs, they can be weak, you know, they can split easier, they can be more brittle in cold weather. So I made sure that we're using more expensive material to build our tubes. And we do that, we use the white tubes so that there's nothing added, there's nothing adulterated in there. You cannot crumble up a bunch of plastic parts from old toys and things like that, cut them, you know, put them in a hopper and crush them all up and then remelt them when you have a white tube. It's impossible. So we're giving you the strongest tube that we can. And I learned that the hard way. You know, I didn't know at first, and I bought black tubes like everybody else, and then they're recycled, and I was showing somebody, you know, that it was crush proof, and the damn thing snapped. It like sounded like a rifle shot. And I went back to the tube guy and I was like, what the hell happened? You know, I thought we agreed on how strong these were going to be. And he was like, oh yeah, well, you know, sometimes once in a while, you know, when it's coming through the extruder, you know, the plastic can have like impurities in it, and so it can have a streak. And I was like, okay, how do we prevent that? And that's when he said, well, you have to get original resin, you have to get original pellets that original polymers that have never been formed into anything. And that's what we put in the hopper and we run through the extruder. And this is more expensive, but it is also stronger and much more consistent. And that's exactly how it's been. So, you know, these are the things that we're always doing, is we're always striving for improvement to make the cases a little bit better, a little bit better. If cases come back to us and they have some kind of a problem, then, well, number one, we fix it for the customer. But number two, we look at whatever was wrong and we say, how can we fix that so it never happens again? And so from that point on, you know, let's say a week or 2 weeks later, all the cases being made do not have that problem. So I know that going forward from that moment, it's very unlikely that I'm going to get a case back with that same problem. So that's why I can give you a lifetime warranty and not go broke, you know, because I know that week after week, improvement after improvement, there's less and less things that can go wrong with it. It gets harder and harder to break the case. In other words, you'd have to be really abusive to it to cause some kind of harm, and then it becomes obvious. So it's easy to give a lifetime warranty in that case, you know, when we're constantly improving it. And that's something that, frankly, you just don't get from a lot of these other, you know, production case makers that are buying their cases from this factory or that factory. And those factories don't really give a shit about your cues. They don't give a shit about, all they care about is the customer said they want to pay this much to get the cases. And so they have to, if they want to make more of a profit, these factories, they have to cut corners. and they know full well that these big companies, they're not savvy enough, they're not knowledgeable enough to know what corners were cut to increase the profitability of the maker. You know, all they know is I'm buying the case at a super cheap price, and my profit margin is really high, and I can hype the shit out of it. I can lie to people and tell them that it's great, and people will believe me because I have a big brand name, and that's all they care about, you know. And then the only other thing they care about is that they don't get a bunch of cases flying back at them in a short period of time. So as long as the cases will hold up for a couple months or long enough where the customer won't be too upset if it breaks, and then they've got no warranty, they're fine with that. So, you know, there's a percentage generally between manufacturers, between factories and their customers, where it's something on the order of some, you know, they negotiate it, but let's just say it's normally around 3%. So as long as there's not more than 3% returns, the customer agrees to just eat that. You know, so if they start getting 5 or 10 or 15, 20% returns, right, then they've got a problem that they got to fix. But other than that, you can count on 3 out of 100 people are getting screwed. You know, sorry, bud, no warranty, eat it, right? 30 out of 100, out of 1,000, right? 30 out of 1,000, you know, 300 out of 10,000. So, you know, that's how they look at it basically. And you know, it's not always going to be 3%. Sometimes it might be 2, sometimes it might be 4, whatever. But that's basically how they calculate it. Now, the way we calculate it is I want 100% satisfaction. So if a case has a problem that we're the cause of, that it's our fault, I want to get it back. I want to fix it or replace the case, make the customer happy, and fix whatever that was that brought the case back to me, and make sure that it's unlikely to ever happen again. So that's the JB Cases difference, okay? So I will do things like this, like put an interior into a 3Seconds case or put an interior into a Predator case. You know, if it's possible for me to replace an interior in a case, and to be clear, I can't do that on all cases. You know, it's sometimes cases are made in such a way that it doesn't really work for us to replace the interior. So I get questions all the time. Can you do this case or that case or whatever? And frankly, you know, I'm not really into my thing is I don't really want to improve everybody's case, right? But the cases that we can do, you know, I'll do that for people. Even though I feel like that I'm handing them back a case that's still not as good as ours, but the interior at least the interior will be as protective as ours. And that can give them a peace of mind knowing that they've got good protection. So if they want to give up the rest of the features and benefits that are built into a JB case and go for style or go for, you know, the new look or the new thing or whatever, that's perfectly fine. But the fact of it is that point for point, objectively, you can't beat a JB case. You know, you just can't. And there's so many things on our cases, so many little things that most people don't even know about, you know, and I'll consider that a failure for not being as diligent at promoting all these things as we should be. So I'll get better at that. But just the fact is that dollar for dollar, you're not going to find a better value than a JB case. You're not going to find better protection than a JB case unless they're using our interior, which there are several case makers who do use our interior, not mass production ones. There are several that try to knock us off. So when you look in the case, it looks like our interior, but then when you really open it up, you find out that it's still deficient and defective. One of the knockoffs they have, they're missing like 3 or 4 inches of fabric down at the bottom. So they've actually taken our interior idea and screwed it up so badly that they've literally created a danger to the queues with the shortcuts that they've taken. It's horrible, you know. But people look at that and they look and they say, oh, it looks like a JB, so I'm going to save $100 or whatever, and I'm gonna buy this. And then they end up, with scratches and broken cues, and then they're like, how did this happen? And they don't even link it together that the case actually caused the damage to their cues, because they think to themselves, who's going to build a case that is going to damage a cue? What kind of idiot does that, right? Well, surprisingly, a lot of them do it because I'm trying not to cuss here, but they don't give a shit about your cues. All they care about is getting cases out the door that their wholesale giant distributor customer will accept and not have to worry about, they already know that customers in general aren't going to make that link between the case being defective and harming their cues. And so they're very unlikely to get cases back for that reason, right? Because people just don't know. You're sticking your cue in a hole and shit happens to your cue, and you just pull your cue out, you play with it and everything, and then at some point you look at it and you notice there's a bunch of extra scratches, or there's dings in it, or there's inexplicable rattles are happening, and you just don't think to yourself that the case did that. The way the case is built in such a way that it's actually causing it. And, but that's what happens. So, yeah. 3Seconds case with a JB interior. Looks really cool. Another thing about this case too is I decided on this one to put a green interior in here, because you'll notice that when you look down in here, where's that flashlight at? You'll notice that originally it had a black interior, and the customer wanted a blue interior, but I didn't have a blue interior that worked for it. But you'll notice how nice it is, how easy it is to see all the cavities in there with the green interior. So when you look at it, when you look down in here, it's bright instead of dark, right? So it's easy to see where all the parts go and everything. And I also think that's important. That's another thing about us, is we have like 15 different colors of interiors to match cases and stuff. So for example, this one is a navy blue. Now it's really weird. See, I just talked about like looking down in there and not seeing anything, and you can see it's dark because I don't have a light, here correctly. But take a look at that. So when you're actually looking at this top down right here with any kind of light right here, it makes it really easy to see it. All the cavities are real easy, no problem. And and obviously the lighter color in the material, the easier it's going to be to see the cavities. But with us, you can choose any color that you want. So anyway, that's it right now. I'll throw this video up and you guys can see it. But that is my 3Seconds upgrade to a JB interior. Now, if you want this upgrade, I recommend that you send the case to us. I think I did a video on this where to kind of show you how to do it if you want to do it. But it is a little bit tricky to do this, to do it right. And so I really recommend that you send it to us. Now, sometimes that takes a little bit longer for me to get to it than maybe you're comfortable with. So, talk to us and let us know. But if you want to do that, you basically ship the case to us. You pay the shipping back to you. It costs about $65 or so for the interior. And then I think I charge like $25 or so to do it, which, by the way, the $25 is honestly not enough for the time it takes me to do a good job on this. But that's what I charge. So when I get around to doing it. But anyway, when I do it, then you've got a nice looking, cool case, well-made case, on the exterior, with a really good interior, with a JB interior protecting your cues. So you got kind of you got what you want on the outside, whatever that look is that matters to you, and you have the protection that we are known for, and that I am particularly proud of because of all the effort, the research and development. I mean, we have made, God, I don't know. hundreds of iterations over the years for these interiors, and we're not done. We keep pushing forward, and we keep looking for better ways to do this. And you know, that's the JB Case advantage, man. It really is. So anytime that I do this, the customer's got a better case, and they've got the peace of mind knowing that their cues are properly protected with a JB interior. So that's it. All right. You guys have a good night. I say good night. It's nighttime right now. And I will talk to you later. But now you have a little bit more information. And we'll talk to you later. You guys take care. Bye-bye.